There's a reason why we have this obesity epidemic all over the world. Based upon my research, don't take my word for it if you want. Go do your own research. Do your own due diligence. But the reason is insulin. So we're eating too often, and our insulin levels remain high. And unless until we're able to drop our insulin, we're not able to tap into our fat stores, our own fat stores, to burn and process that fat for the sake of energy. So unless until you bring those insulin levels down, our access to our fat stores is like, it's just think of it as a freezer that's in the basement or whatever. Your fridge. If the fridge is locked, you can't get to it. You can't get the food. So likewise, if those fridge doors remain shut, then we can't get access to our own fat to burn that fat for the sake of using it for energy. So this is exactly what we want to happen, and the only way that happens when we're able to access our own fat is when you don't eat for a while, i.e., fast. So I understand those people that don't agree with this. They might say, "Oh, you're advocating for starvation or whatever." There's a key difference between starvation and fasting. Starvation is forced upon someone. Fasting is voluntary. You're just abstaining from food and sugar for a certain amount of time, whether it's 14 hours or 12 hours or 16 or 20, whatever. Um, you know, um, it's interesting. I was reading this article from I don't know, like it was like 5, 10 years ago. And I was living in the U.S. and I saw this article. There were these kids, these teenagers who and just they had their cell phones on them and they're all just off the coast of California, and they went boating, and they for some reason they got stuck out in the Pacific Ocean somewhere, and they eventually ended up out of cell phone range, and their food supplies were very limited, but they were out at sea for like 7 to 9 days or something, and mashallah, they survived. So um, our bodies were designed to process and burn our own fat. So they say human beings can go without water for 3 days, about 9 days without food. Of course, there have been other studies with or other cases where you have prisoners or what have you who go on hunger strike for 30 days, whatever. They still survive. Yeah, they might force feed them with liquids or whatever, but there was the longest fast I believe was about yeah, they might have been taking some liquids along the way and making sure their electrolytes and then their body were adequate. So they might be taking some supplements, whatever. But the longest recorded fast, I believe, is 300 some days. So yeah, you'd be surprised with what the human body, the way Allah designed us, is the way God designed us. We're designed to go a day or a few days or whatever without food. That's just how. And when you do that, if you do that, uh, what do you think is going to happen? Are you going to gain weight or are you going to lose weight? I think if we use our heads that Allah gave us, that God gave us, if we just use our minds, we can come to the conclusion that you're going to lose weight. So for those that say this is just some crazy idea, like I said, I like to beg to differ. It's just the study after study that are coming out. There's the study I mentioned in one of my previous videos, the study from Saudi Arabia that said people who fasted on a regular basis, they lost weight. Like over 90% of them lost weight. And there was another study from this year, as I mentioned before, from the University of Toronto in 2025, and they said that fasting leads to weight loss and fat loss. So just kind of blows the whole argument out of the water that fasting doesn't work. I realize I'm not the best example of it just yet, but in spite of eating whatever I want and just fasting and exercising, I still lost about 20-30 pounds in the last 2 years. So I'm still I'm happy with that. And yeah, like I said, I'm still on my weight loss, my weight loss and my fitness journey. So yeah, do I have work to do? Sure, that's I'll be the first to admit it. But yeah, it definitely works. So, anyways, take care. Assalamu alaikum.